Good morning. Any morning is made better by starting it with a song. So please join us for hymn 121, We'll Build a Land. Please rise and body your spirit. Good morning and welcome to a Sunday of good music and good words. My name is Kay Azar and I'm the worship associate this morning. I am so lucky to be joined by the choir led by Janet, pianist Ryan, the tech team, the decorating team, and Rev. Byrd Tetzlaff, who will be delivering the sermon virtually this morning. It is always our intention to finish at 11:30. If we do not, please feel free to move about as you need to. I also ask that you put your phones in worship mode. And I will tell you, I am the worst of all for reminding you to put them back, so that's kind of on you. If you are new to us this morning or have returned after being away for a while, please stand, raise your hand if you're comfortable to do so, and Doug will bring the mic around and you can introduce yourself.
When the shark bites. Oh, sorry. I don't know. I see a microphone.
I'm Aubrey, and this is Elwood. And years ago, we're folk singers and musicians. We played here when Jack Osborne was running the event. And we're from Rhode Island, and we bring our greetings from Unitarian churches in New England.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Daniela Maria Drew. I am the cousin of Carlos. Hey, Carlos. And I live in Bergenfield, New Jersey, and I attend, yay, Bergenfield, I attend St. Luke African Methodist Episcopal Church in New York City, in Harlem. And I bring you greetings from Pastor Green and the steward board and the trustee board, of which I am a member of the steward board. I am so glad to be here, and I thank you for your welcome.
Thank you. Very good. Somebody else, okay.
I'm Kathy Platt, and I'm from Kay's home church. I like to think of it as her home church in South Bend, Indiana, and haven't been here since COVID. So it's been 4 years since I visited you, and my friends that aren't with me are very jealous that I'm here seeing Kay.
If you have questions or want to learn more about who we are, please ask any of us after the service with a name tag or call the office or email office@uufcc.org. Holy and beautiful, the custom which brings us together in the presence of the Most High, to face our ideals, to remember our loved ones in absence, to give thanks, to make confession, to offer forgiveness, to be enlightened, and to be strengthened. Through this quiet hour breathes the worship of ages, the cathedral music of history. 3 unseen guests attend: faith, hope, and love. Let all our hearts prepare them a place. By Robert French Levins. We appreciate all of you who have come to help and to be helped, to love and be loved, those who care and those who need care. If you are yearning for community, if you're curious and hungry to learn or have something to teach, come in, be among us. We welcome you. And now our musical welcome comes from Ryan's Prelude. And now Kathy's going to light the chalice. When the great mosaic of humanity is treated with dignity and respect, when no person is threatened by hunger or war, when we have extended hospitality to the stranger and tended to the sick, when equity and justice reign everywhere, then we shall all be free. We light this flame to hold that moment in our spirits and in our minds until we can make it real. By Adam Slate. Please join me for the affirmation in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, seek truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening words this morning were given anonymously. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. Now stand as you are willing and able for hymn 159, This Is My Song. That song just thrills me every time we sing it. Now is the time in our religious community for us to share our joys and our triumphs, our sorrows and our broken places. In this circle of care, we make place for the complexity of life, the myriad experiences that bless and break our hearts. On any given day, we come with our hearts in different places. It is so on this day as every other. We here write of those highs and lows in the red book of life that typically lives on the table at the back of the sanctuary to the right as you enter. We ask that you write in it before the service and they'll be read. If you can't be here on a Sunday but want to get something in the Book of Life, you can email us at bookoflife@uufcc.org by Saturday prior to the service. The entries will all be read on Sunday morning. Following joys and concerns, we'll have an opportunity to drop a stone in the water of community to celebrate, honor, or grieve. So for today, Janet writes, I brought Rocky home from the hospital Monday. Yay, we're all happy. And I'm relieved, and our dogs are happy to be napping with him on the couch again. On Sunday, I came to the realization of what it means to be married to someone 20 years my senior, and I was a bit overwhelmed. On February 24th, we will celebrate our 35th wedding anniversary, and we have much to be grateful for. Yay! Thank you for your concern and well wishes. The support played an important role in Rocky's recovery, and I'm appreciative. Excuse me. Janet. Many thanks to Betty Barriga and Ted Zawistowski for for bringing UUFCC to the table and for all justice work. Their time and work for the Right to Read Festival yesterday in Venice was linked to be part of an event that brought so many people together in support of a positive effort to be a loving and safe place. Laura Anderson. And now, if you wish to drop a stone in the water, please come forward.
I'm dropping this stone in gratitude and joy. Yesterday, I received as a gift a painting by Muriel Van Patten. It's a stunning, stunning piece of art that has just lit my living room. And every time I walk in, and to the person who gave it to me, I want to express my deepest gratitude and love.
So this is for my cousin that is visiting me today, and she's here right now. This is the second time that she's come over here, and basically when I go up north, I stay at her house. So it's like quite an even exchange. And this is for our family because our family has, we are very tight in the sense that we keep with each other. And this is for my cousin, her daughter, and the family, and for my sister that is still dealing with a bout of Alzheimer's. So this is for the family. I'm glad to have family here too.
Well, folks, I did it again. My last day at Village Medical is March the 15th. My first day at Westside Family Practice in Bradenton will be Monday, March 18th. So no time and no rest for the wicked. And found out that I got a very generous, to the tune of around $30,000 severance package from my current employer, so that will be nice. I put a stone in. Tomorrow I take Ryan's dad, Rod, back to the USF Parkinson Clinic. And we rode in the car with him yesterday, and it was another very frightening experience. So I'm going to have that dreaded conversation with the neurologist tomorrow about driving, and he's not looking to the left at all. And we almost collided like twice yesterday in a 3-mile drive.
For many things, but today for my sister friend Betty, who has some works of her knitting there, and she and I knit together. This is a work in progress because we are all works in progress.
Yes, this is, well, went to the Right to Read Fest yesterday, and it reminded me, the last time I went to UU was with my friend Stacy, who actually, she died, and she had, it was her birthday also yesterday, and that's, I tried to invite her mother to come over, but couldn't get in contact with her. Oh, thanks.
This is a new experience for me, and I thank God for it. I'm dropping this stone for my cousin, and I would just like to remind us and remind myself that in the midst of loss and in the midst of pain, the Lord allows us to use some of what we go through for His glory. I say that because some years ago, about 20 years ago, I lost my brother. And, the pain still lingers, although it's getting better. I can speak about it and not cry. And today, my cousin, Palmira, has Alzheimer's. And to me, that in a way is a loss of communication between family members. So I look at my life with Carlos as a continuation, as a way of gaining what the Lord knows that I lost: communication, brotherhood, friendship with a family member who has gone through so much himself. And I also drop this because I am a registered nurse, and a lot of people say, why don't you retire? It's my ministry. I cannot retire. I retire when the Lord says so. So I drop this stone for the people who I come in contact with, that the Lord may bless them and heal them if it's His will, and that He'll make me the instrument that He'll have me to be to His glory. And to all of you, peace.
This stone is for dear friends. May we all have them, may we all be them, and may they visit us often. Thanks, Kathy. This is the last stone for all those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in our hearts. Now, if you will get your gray hymnals, we have a responsive reading, number 346. It's by David C. Pohl, and it will be followed by a moment of quiet reflection. If you read the parts in italics. We come to this time and this place to renew our faith in the holiness, goodness, and beauty of life. To rekindle the flame of memory and hope, and We're going to do something a little bit different today. As far as a song, the song is called Set It Right Again by Anna Hernandez. It's a simple song. Janet will help you with your parts, and you will sing with the choir.
Okay, just a little intro. We do requests. We don't honor all requests, but there was a request for something different. So, Mary Holly, I'm going to blame this on her in case it goes awry. Mary Holly introduced me to this contemporary composer, Anna Hernandez, and she writes chants, and this is pulling me totally out of my comfort zone because I'm a musician and I like a score. I am a read the ink person, and all I have are lyrics, no notes. So I'm going to need your help. We'll have the choir sing the first verse, and there is a repetitive response, which is, we're going to set it right again. And when I give you your cue, I have some ringers out there positioned among the congregation, so I know when I do this, I'm going to get something back. So I'll give you the cue. Oh, yes, please. Finger snapping is encouraged. Okay. There's a great trouble in the land. We're gonna set it right again. There's a great trouble in the land. We're gonna set it right again. There's a great trouble in the land. We're gonna set it right again. We're gonna set it right again. Trouble's been brewing many years. We're gonna set it right again. Trouble's been brewing many years. We're gonna set it right again. Trouble's been brewing many years. We're gonna set it right again. We're I got to interject this. When I heard the recording on YouTube, there was a string bass playing the boom, boom, boom. We don't have string bass, so my bass section in the back became string bass. So in case you didn't notice, they had a rough time with their words, a boom, 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 but they did a great job. Thanks, guys.
Oh, this is the meaty part. It's now my pleasure to introduce Redbird Tetzloff. And I understand she's going to be on a screen, but I have to admit I'm a big fan of hers, as I've heard her preach on a number of occasions at First Unitarian in South Bend, and she's an awesome person. She's one of many UU ministers that came to ministry in midlife. She has served 5 congregations in 5 states and holds some sort of record for officiating at same-sex marriages. She retired in 2010 due to health complications, but enjoys preaching here in particular, virtually on occasion. She's an artist and runs a small animal sanctuary. Please welcome Rev Byrd.
Morning. I'm glad to be back. I'm going to begin with a story, a true story. Antoinette was having a very bad morning. Her husband of 33 years had just recently told her that he'd fallen in love with someone else and he wanted a divorce. Her disabled son was refusing to eat breakfast because he didn't want his dad to leave home, and the son's caretaker was late, which made Antoinette late to get to her office as a bookkeeper at the local elementary school. She stopped at the front desk to speak to a teacher when the gunman barged in. He was armed with an AK-47 and 500 rounds of ammunition, and he did not look happy. He announced very loudly, "We are all going to die today." There were over 870 children in that school, and that flashed through Antoinette's mind. The gunman started pacing back and forth, and then he told the teacher to go tell everyone they were in lockdown and they were going to die. And he told Antoinette to stay where she was. And he took one step outside to shoot a few rounds at the neighborhood. Antoinette reached for the phone and dialed 911 just as the shooter stepped back into the office. He saw the phone and he told her to call the local TV and radio stations and let them know what was going on. She used another phone line to do that and then switched back to 911 and put the phone on the other side of the desk where he couldn't see it, which is why the whole incident was recorded. And the rest of the incident you can hear on YouTube today. Now, Antoinette had a chance to try to get away when the shooter took his shots outside. But instead of hiding, she thought about the children and the teachers and the other people she worked with. She had to do something. She had to do something, and she didn't know what. So she started to talk to the shooter. She asked him what he wanted. He said he wanted to die. And the most amazing thing happened at that point. She suddenly saw him as a person in pain. And the pain was so bad, he could only stop it by killing children and then dying himself. Antoinette refused to accept that situation. And she said it wasn't the solution, and she started talking with him. She told him about her own attempts at suicide, but it was okay now, and it would be okay for him too. She kept on telling him it would be okay. He hadn't hurt anybody yet. He just needed to surrender. And she kept on talking to him, listening to him, and sharing. And all this while, it gave some of the children and the teachers a chance to escape, time to get to safety, but she stayed. And she talked and really listened to the shooter. She found out that he'd run out of his meds, and that was partly why life was so bad for him, that he wanted to kill children and be killed by the cops. But by the time the police arrived, she had talked him into thinking about living. After more talking and more listening, she persuaded him to surrender, saying that she would walk out there with her arm around him to make sure that he would be safe, that the police wouldn't shoot him. And he did surrender. No one was hurt, not even the shooter. One can only guess how many lives were saved that day. Later on, Antoinette said she wanted to visit him in prison or the hospital, wherever they sent him. And she wanted to keep all the children safe, but she'd wanted him to be safe as well. Later on, she explained it all by saying that what she had done was to love him into putting the gun down. As we all know, that is not the usual scenario for a shooter, to be talked out of it, to not harm anyone. That isn't what we would expect. But Antoinette did not do the expected thing. She was terrified, but she had compassion for someone who came to kill her and as many others as possible. She told him that she loved him and she wanted him to be safe. That isn't what was supposed to have happened. What was supposed to happen was that lots of children would die, and teachers, and maybe some of the cops would be killed or wounded too before the sniper took out the shooter. But one person acted differently than what was expected. She acted with love, and that changed everything. In the United States today, there are still school shootings and Walmart shootings, and heck, just last week there was a shooting at a Super Bowl celebration. As I preach this, it is February 25th, and there have already been over 48 killings this year. Why? Is there something that we could do differently that might encourage a different outcome? Now, I'm not talking about the gun question here, although it's highly relevant. But what I want to focus on is our attitudes towards those who might harm us. Certainly, one of the reasons for shootings today is that 15 minutes of fame. But what seems to be a more common reason is that someone wants revenge for perceived injustice. They want justice. Justice. We all want justice. But what is that? In a lot of movies, there's a scene where someone is dying, presumably murdered, and the hero comes in and holds the dying person and swears that the hero will revenge this person by getting them justice. I have never understood that. Supposedly, it means the hero's going to track down the murderer and kill him, or take him for a trial, and then he'll be hanged. But how is that justice? I mean, it's a good idea to stop anybody else from getting killed. I'm all in favor of that. But is tracking someone down and killing them justice? That sounds more like revenge. And supposedly, justice is blind and unemotional. Supposedly, justice even things out somehow. The dictionary has lots of definitions of the meaning of the word justice, but the primary one seems to be the administration of that which is just, fair, and impartial. I would like to posit that perhaps that's missing something. Maybe there's another way. In the Code of Hammurabi, for instance, which is the earliest known code of laws, if a builder put together a house but used the wrong materials on the roof so that after a rain it would collapse, and it happened to kill the homeowner's son, to make things fair, the son of the builder would be killed, and that would be justice. It was thought to be fair because both men had lost a beloved child. But I would like to point out that that did not take into account the unfairness to the builder's son. After all, he had nothing to do with the poor decision of his father. If he'd known about it, he may have even tried to talk his father out of it. Heck, he might have even gotten his father to promise to use the right materials, and the father just didn't. But still, the son would be the one to pay with his life. So in the Code of Hammurabi, justice did not take into account everyone. But lest we feel superior that our sense of justice has evolved, it has, but it's not perfect by any means. Our system still tends to be a form of Hammurabi's code of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, which, as someone pointed out, would simply leave the world full of toothless and blind people. It doesn't really solve the problem. Consequently, there are many places today that are wrestling with other systems of redressing wrongs. In the southwestern states here in America, there are some Native American tribes that are working with models of transformative justice, which deals with addressing the root causes of harm and violence. It focuses on community accountability, healing, and transformation rather than punishment. Years ago, I read an article that said in many cases, when a Native American had committed a crime off the reservation, was tried in our justice system and found guilty, the tribe would claim the offender, and they would remove him from the white man's prison and restore him to the tribe where he would have to respond and answer to the tribe and serve his sentence with them. They would fold him into the community and try to get him to understand how much harm he had done. They would show him how to reverse the trajectory of his life. I understand the recidivism rate was very low. Scandinavian countries of today are working with very different justice models. The trials are quite similar to what we have, but the consequences are not what we would expect. The offenders are sent to prison, but their prisons are not based on punishment, rather on turning the offender around. What the Scandinavians do is to focus on treating the offender as if they are human and work on education and rehabilitation. It's a very humane system and it seems to work. Their recidivism rate is somewhere around 20%. And the United States nationwide, well, our recidivism rate is closer to 78%. A few years ago, before COVID, there were some prisons in the United States that decided to give the Scandinavian a try. They sent over supervisors and prison guards from several states to be trained. And I should mention, to the last person, everyone we sent over there was highly, highly skeptical. But they came back enthusiastic, and they tried it in several locations. In one prison in Oregon, the recidivism rate dropped from 80% to somewhere in the 30s. Sadly, when COVID hit, all the prisons went back to the usual model, and I've not heard of any attempt to try it again. Now, I have done a little prison ministry, and I currently have a prison pen pal through the Church of the Larger Fellowship. I can assure you that our traditional form of prison does nothing to help folks get clean and start over. It focuses on punishment and dehumanization. I don't think that's very helpful. It harms society when the person gets out, and the vast majority of them are going to get out. And that person is usually full of rage and anger with nothing, no tools to help them stay out of trouble. They have problems finding a job and even renting a place to live. This does not bode well for them staying out of trouble. It seems that the systems that focus on punishment rather than rehabilitation have a lousy track record of stopping future crimes. Places that care even about their wrongdoers have much less chance of perpetuating crimes. But our society seems to prefer punishment. And I do get that. When I've been harmed, I want to strike back. Either that or never have anything more to do with the offender. Just pretend they dropped off the edge of the earth. But I'm not sure my attitude is helpful. It doesn't heal the situation. It only makes it worse. I'm reminded that not too long ago, Ireland was torn apart. Catholics were killing Protestants, and Protestants were killing Catholics. And every time someone was killed, the family retaliated. There was no end in sight because someone always had to be revenged until some Catholic mothers who had lost beloved sons talked with Protestant mothers who had lost beloved sons. They met and they realized that their remaining sons were also at risk unless they were willing to see each other's pain, to recognize that revenge doesn't bring anyone back. It only endangers the people that are left. these mothers joined together and started a movement that ended in peace. Imagine yourself in that situation, marching arm in arm with those who had murdered your son, marching with your enemy to stop the war. And they did. That is simply unbelievable. If you wrote that into a movie script, no one would buy it. But it happened. Antoinette, when she saw the gunman, saw a hurting human being, and she cared enough about him to love him in surrendering. That's incredible. If you wrote a movie about that, no one would buy it. But it happened. Is it possible that caring about others, loving them as you love yourself, that might help to heal a situation a lot more often than it's tried? Is it possible, just possible, that love is stronger than justice? Is it possible that love that truly cares about the well-being of another, is it possible that form of love is the highest form of justice? I tend to think so. So be it, and amen.
I know she's watching on YouTube, so thank you, Rev Byrd. Erica Hewitt reminds us that the offering we take on Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to this people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the value of our faith. May our offering help. And if you are here for the first time today, please feel free to pass the basket. Your presence today here is your gift to us. And ushers will now come through and pass the basket. And Ryan will play.
I'm not so sure how inspiring these words are going to be, but they're words that need to be communicated to all of you. Beginning next week, UUFCC will begin a special and very necessary season, which occurs every year and lasts about a month. I call this the season of promise and hope. It is time when we prepare for the upcoming year and conduct our official business. It is also the season we carry out a campaign to fund our beloved community. Today, in preparation for this necessary campaign, the pledge forms that will promise adequate income for the 24-25 fiscal year will be distributed after the service by Jack and Nancy. Forms not picked up this morning will be mailed tomorrow morning. So I'm hoping that you won't leave today without the important form, which will save us postage costs. You may pick up pledge forms for friends too. This annual financial campaign will officially begin next Sunday, March 3rd, and continue for the following 3 weeks. Please, please, please complete your pledge form as soon as possible and return it to the fellowship or mail it to the office. The annual meeting will be held on March 24th. Thank you.
And now, the life of the community. There are a few announcements. Open Studio this week is canceled due to lack of participation. Thank you for, Open Studio was canceled, period, not just for this week. Thank you to all who supported this endeavor. And we hope that you will enjoy our new spring member art exhibit. A reception will be held Friday, March 1st at 4 p.m. Please come and support our talented artists. There's beautiful things there. Lunch Bunch will meet at the Chefs up here on 41 and Forest Nelson. And greetings from the Immigration Justice Committee. Tickets to our gala fundraising event concert are now available. Beatleologist Elaine Silver will perform on March 16th at the Congregational United Church of Christ in Punta Gorda. Tickets are $25. See Betty Barriga. And that's all for this morning. I believe our closing words, Rev. Byrd will rejoin us.
Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice. And justice at its best is power, correcting everything that stands against love. That's a quote by Martin Luther King. Blessed be, my friends. Blessed be.
Now, as we get ready to extinguish the chalice, from this ground let us sow mercy, justice, and compassion. Let us offer our stories to provide our staples of wisdom. And when we do, let us create and experience the presence and affirmation that allows us to connect with our theological imaginations so that the harvest of our faith will be abundant grace. Please say together, we extinguish this chalice, but not together again. Go now in peace. We end our service as we began with joyful music. Please rise in body or spirit for hymn 131, Love will guide us. And so may it be. Thank you.